Hi, Redeemer, particularly the Cedar Rapids campus. Hope you've had a good Christmas and good New Year coming up. We've enjoyed our time out in Ohio so far, and we'll be back, coming back Saturday, and look forward to being with you and worshiping January 3rd on Sunday. I want to give, this is for Cedar Rapids particularly, I want to give a little bit of review and looking forward on what to expect regarding the building opportunity and the pledges, the pledge period. So included in this email is a link to the member meeting that we had and we live streamed, and there's a video available for that if you want to go and watch that whole thing. Because I'm not go through all the details right now, but I'm just going to give you a brief overview, right? So just by way of reminder of what we're talking about, we're looking at a building opportunity, which would mean purchasing a plot of land at 400 3rd Avenue Southwest and building a multi-purpose space there, which is basically a gym with a stage where we can have different types of activities, but also have a worship service. And that building would be connected to the existing Youth for Christ facility, which could be used for us to use as a foyer and also a really nice kids wing upstairs. Um, and then, share those facilities together and let them use our building for youth outreach and things like that. And there's more to it, and I'll touch base on that here in a little bit in terms of mission. But basically, we're seeing this as an opportunity to magnify our worship and magnify our mission, right? So magnify worship. How well? I mean, obviously, we've been in 4 locations this year, and we deal with them, and we do what it's what God has for us, and it's good, and we're thankful, and we worship. But we do believe that having our own dedicated space with people not walking by yelling at us in the mall. And I think again yesterday I heard that someone walked by and yelled "Hail Satan" while Glenn was preaching, and just having our own dedicated space that we know we're going to be there, and it's a big space. We can seat like 500 people in a place this size. It'd be about a 6,500 square foot facility. The kids' space is quality. We've been dealing with that for years. But this is dedicated classrooms with doors. It's really, really nice. Located in town. We've, not wanted to go out of town, where because you can get cheap land out of town, but we found cheap land in town, $75,000 for a plot of land that we can put a building on. This is really nice. And ultimately having a place that's designed for what we're doing in there instead of trying to makeshift, in the Justice store, or doing kids ministry with all the walls and partitions and all that. So we really think that would really increase our worship experience and our outreach and impact to the community, and to have a place literally that will have lasting impact. But really, also, and I think even I'm more excited about is how this can magnify our mission. When I first saw this opportunity, I really saw it as financially, incredible, and I'll talk about that as well here a little bit. But it really grew from that to really seeing the opportunity for Redeemer and Youth for Christ to partner. And again, we'll each maintain our own mission, and uh, they do 100 things, we do 100 things, but there will be an overlap, an opportunity for Redeemer to come alongside, be inspired, encouraged, challenged by them, because they're a very evangelistic, pioneering organization that is reaching unchurched youth in the schools and in the city. And we need a missional shot in the arm, frankly, and I'm really excited for that. But also, we bring a blessing to them, and they're looking forward to that. That because of their pioneering nature and the fact that these kids age out of their ministry, they don't have the ability to provide decades of church community and discipleship. And Redeemer has the opportunity to do that. So really, really excited about that, and look forward to hearing more from Youth for Christ and what God is doing, and for us to get to know them more. So I really see an opportunity there um, for that stuff to grow, for God to lead us in mission. We've been praying about that as a church, and we need all parts of the body. So I think that is just part of how God has designed this thing, right? There's just so many parts that fit together, and so kind of relates to the question of why do this now. I mean, this is a trying time, right? 2020, all kinds of stuff, and I'm aware of the challenge of doing a building campaign in the middle of a pandemic and political upheaval and all that stuff. But the reality is, it's just this simple. This is when God has brought this opportunity, so we're going to seek it and just trust Him to provide. He's not uh, beholden to the patterns and ways of the world. He does what he does when he wants, and this is when he's brought this. So we're going to seek him in this. And part of it is that this is a really unique financial opportunity. Like, total cost for this project is around $925,000. Now, I do want to say one thing. Those numbers can go up or down a bit based on, actual final design and things like that. But that's based on an estimate of per square foot, for a building this size. Now, it could come down in different ways. It might go up a little bit, but that's the ballpark. Now, that's really cheap. We don't have to build the existing, 9,000 square foot building that we're going to have access to and not have to pay for utilities on and maintenance or even just building it, right? We're not going to have to build a parking lot. There's free parking downtown on Sundays for, 200 cars. Like, that's I don't know. I've done the estimates, $2.5 million or so in savings that we don't have to come up with. And so that's another, relates to the why now. It's like, man, this is a really unique opportunity that we just feel like is worth exploring. And so the question is, where do we come up with $925,000? Well, we have $100,000 saved because we started a building fund a few years ago. So there's 100 of it. We can finance about 200 based on our current income and our current facility expenses. So that's about a third of it. And that means we have to raise 2/3, another $625,000. And where's that money come from? Well, we think it's going to come from a variety of sources. The most, the major source is Redeemer. This is our building. This is our church. And we're going to take pledges for that. And I want to circle back to that, back to the pledge issue. But we also believe there's friends of Redeemer out there. I've already had people outside of Redeemer offer to help. So that will happen. And we trust that will happen. And there's going to be friends, people that are former members or who just know us and believe in what we do and want to help. We expect to see discounts. And that means that, when we go and meet with subcontractors to, do certain things in the building and the facility, that we've already been offered discounts on things. And so some of that will show up, and there will be some things we can do sweat equity, that we can, maybe lay flooring or do some painting and things like that we can save some money. But the majority of this comes from us, right? So the question is, can we raise $625,000? We'll find out. There's a little bit of change into how we've approached this at the member meeting. And if you've been listening to this messaging on this, we were talking about doing 3 months of pledges and 3 years to pay, right? So 3 months to pledge, say, hey, how much can you give over the next 3 years? The building team, the elders really felt like that was too long of a period to be pledging. So we decided to shorten it. So here's what we're going to do. On January 3rd, this Sunday, we're going to take a vote on whether or not to enter the pledge period, right? If the majority of the people say no, then this thing's dead and we move on with life. If the majority of the people say yes, okay, then we enter a pledge period. Here's what that pledge period looks like. There's going to be phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 will be January. We're going to take pledges. You will receive an email with a Google form that will ask basic questions like, how much can you give in 2021? How much can you give in 2022? And how much can you give in 2023? That's the 3 years, right? You fill that out in January. That's phase 1. If we reach our goal in phase 1, then we're done. I mean, there's no need to go on. The reality is that some people may not be able to answer that question in January. They may need a little more time. And so because of that, we're going to, if necessary, do a phase 2, which would be February then. We'd do a phase 2 of pledges with the same questions, right? And we'll be reaching out to Friends of Redeemer as well and seeing what God would be pleased to do there. All right, so I will explain this again on Sunday, but just want to be clear and repeat, right? We're asking how much you can give over the course of the next 3 years, right? That's our fundraising. Can we raise $625,000 over the course of 3 years? But we pledge in January, this month. The pledge form will come out, phase 1 of pledging. How much can you give in those 3 years? And so we'll just run that through January, and then we'll see how it goes. We'll reassess. If we have enough, we'll stop. If we don't, then we'll open it up to phase 2, like I said, because we believe that some people may not be able to answer that question that quickly. They may need to figure some stuff out, right? So there it is. Look forward to being back with you guys Sunday. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions. Now's the time. I mean, we've been talking about this for months, and I'm really eager to see what God will do. And I've been encouraged so far. So I will tell you this. I won't name names, but I'll tell you this. we have our first pledge already, and it didn't come from Redeemer. And I think that's a sign of God saying, hey, I want to help you. We had a pledge for $300 a month for 3 years. That's $10,000. That's 1.7% of what we need. And we haven't even taken pledges yet. So I think that's greatly encouraging. So we'll see. We'll see what God does. Let's be in prayer about this. Love you guys, and see you this weekend.